Howdy folks, this is Adventures with PC Wabash again, and it's that time of year. I put my dog line up because I don't have any outside dogs, but I use it to surround my garden to keep the deer out of it. But today I'm going to go ahead and put some of the cooler crops in the ground and some that will be immersing about the time that it starts warming up. Got my DeWitt woven ground cover down with pre-burnt holes in it I burnt over the course of the last couple of years. I rotated my garden a little bit because my corn was on the left side of the camera for the last couple of years. So I moved that over to the right side. I'm going to plant corn in that row, and I have like maybe a 5-inch hole, and I put a piece of corn down in it. But these slots where I'm going to plant my giant mustard greens, let them grow right here. I planted them over there last year, so I'm going to plant them right here in the middle of the garden. And over here where the corn was at last year, I'm going to go ahead and put my bush beans in those two rows. Barren area, the garden must have got bigger when I tilled it up or something. But this barren area right here, I'm going to plant some Pontiac red potatoes. And then we're going to wait till May 5th or along in that area before we get into planting tomatoes. But as you can see, I'll give you a little. I got a dog door here, and I have an entrance door down there, so I can come in from two different ways. And what I usually do is put a broadcast water right here, and it'll do the 30 foot. Alright, let's get the plant. Let's see. Put the squash in my pocket. This piece of PVC and put a taper on the end of it so I can just go to my holes and rough them up a little bit. Lettuce don't go in too deep. And all this is freshly tilled, so all the soil underneath my little tarp here is pretty loose. Here, and put Tom Thumb lettuce in this. Some of this in the ground. Then just cover it up, give it a little tap. That takes care of the lettuce. See what's in this pocket. My greens. Oh, got my little pointy hole. And I'll do one row of each. Then tilled. Run my hole up between them. Same thing, but this time I come back towards y'all. That way I don't have to go up and down the road. But I like greens, I like fresh greens. And the Southern Giant. On one side. Do the Southern Giants over here and just kind of spread them right on down through there. Because you can cut these and they'll come back as long as you don't cut the center. It's a small seed, but they put out a lot of plants. But you can see they're itty bitties. Put them back in there. Then break out my Japanese, which are purple. Which are this purple color, but when they cook up, they turn green. Don't know what that's about. pretty cool. They can up just as good as the other one. Or eat them fresh. There we go. We just spread down right. Now, what we got left in that magic pocket? Greens done. First Island lettuce. It is also a frost hardy plant. Full of 8 to 4 to 8 hours of sun. What I think I'm going to do with them, I'm going to finish out this row right here. This one over here next to it. And this hole. I just stick my finger down in there. One there. And one there. Do that row of corn. I'm putting a little bone meal on top of the little seeds of this plant. They're buried a little bit, but I'm going to put the bone meal on top. And that way when we turn on the water and water everything, hopefully it can get a little fertilized. My corn. And I got this from watching Hollis and Nancy. He's got a bucket that he hooked to a piece of PVC, so you don't have to bend over. Put a seed in the little aluminum bucket, which I couldn't find, and then it kind of sits up there like this. So all he's got to do is walk over, stick this in the ground and give it a wiggle, and drop your seed down in there, and it goes right down into the hole. That's where we're at now. So I'm going to go ahead and prep my potato row, even though I don't have any potatoes right now. I'm going to go ahead and knock that out. Start off, show you what I do, and that's about all. Because, you know, potatoes are fairly easy. They'll grow. And when they look over, they're ready. This is all I do. I dig a nice little trench for them and drop them in about every, I don't know, 12 inches. It's a pretty long row, because normally I only do about a 15-foot wide row, about as long as my panel on the kennel is. But I give them to people because I don't eat them that much. I can them. They can good. And what's surprising about the canning is they actually maintain the body. I thought they would be mushy, but they're not. Alright, now I'm just going to spread out some of this bone meal down this road. I'm also going to put a little bit of this garden food, 10-10-10. But I ain't even put it down heavy. Just gonna kind of spread it around. I think I'm going right down this row first. And then when they come up, I'll wait a little while, then I will plant this row over here. That way I'll have this one harvested, this one be about ready to come in. And then I can kind of rotate the cannon. Instead of picking 2 entire rows at one time, I pick this one, then go back and pick this one. Now when I plant this row, I do things a little bit different. I got a tomato pole here, and my holes are quite a bit smaller than my corn holes over there. So what I do, take the sharp end and just poke a hole and drop a seed in it and go all the way down, easy peasy. And then I just knock the dirt over and cover it up with my foot, give it a little tamp. I'll run a few just to show you what I'm talking about. And that's all it is. Just get a hole in there, jiggle it around a little bit so you got a nice little cup. Then drop your string bean right down in it. And that takes care of the string beans. That's 29 in that row. 2 zucchinis in these 2 holes right here, because they get big. And let's see, I'm gonna probably put a couple squash plants right in this bare dirt, because they get pretty big too. That way they're spaced apart. And that's my tomatoes, them holes over there. And then maybe I'll go on the outside. I got a triangle on the outside of each of these fences and put zucchini, squash, squash, zucchini in these 2 holes. Well, that takes care of that, except for the potatoes. Got all the greens and string beans. Put some squash in the ground. Now I bring you out here, show you how I water this thing. Alright, I made sure we're out of range. Watering the greens and the corn and the string beans is covering all the rows, as you can see. And it came all the way out past right here. And that's where our 2 squash is. 2 squash over here. That 2 squash right in there, zucchini, greens up in that row, corn over here. And as you can see, we have complete coverage. I do a garden update once everything starts going. I do a growing update and about every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how everything is looking. But that'll be on the channel in the gardening section. Alright. Gotta thank Fixing Things with Pastor Bill. He heard about my plight with my camera breaking down at the South Carolina State match. So it had this extra one laying around. Hooked me up with the attachments and the cable for the charger. Everything fits. So that's a thumbs up for Fixing Things with Pastor Bill for helping Adventures with PC Warbag out. Subscribe to his channel. That's Fixing Things with Pastor Bill. On the Mehaul truck. If you don't know what that is, you definitely need to go to his channel. Find out about that Mehaul truck. It was a long saga. He had this truck years and years ago, and somehow it made a full circle and came back to him. Now he's fixing it all up. It's coming along. It was just a heap, but now it's starting to shape up. So go there and check that channel out. That's Fixing Things with Pastor Bill. He worked on a Mitsubishi tractor and got that thing running, come out of a scrap yard, and that thing running like a champ too. And that motorcycle rack he made, he's got this lift he picked up for a song and a dance for his workshop. A lift that he can put his Harley on and lift it up like this instead of like a motorcycle rack that's down here, and you still got a space about that big to get under the pan. This thing pick it up just like a car, so you can walk around, hold underneath that, and don't have to do any kind of origami to get to a nut or a bolt. Check that out. That is really cool. Well, that's how I do my garden. The DeWitt ground cover, I got that from Living Tradition Homestead. I saw them do it, and I tell you what, that stuff, the woven ground fabric is phenomenal. Yeah, the weed will grow where the holes are burnt in, but then you just pluck them out and you can go through your garden and sweep it with a broom. I mean, it's so easy. So much none of a headache. And then as far as my seed dropper, that comes from Hollis and Nancy. Save your back. It's a great thing just to stand up there and drop seeds from 4 foot up instead of all bent over like this. Alright, well, that's it. if you like it. Share it, subscribe, hit that little green button, and we'll be doing garden updates till probably August, I think. It's August and September when I started pulling stuff up, because that's when the weather starts cooling down. Alright, this is the start. It's April 21st, I think. I think you got a watch with a time band, date stamp on it. But, alright, I gotta go to my hardware store and pick up some potatoes so I can cover that row up, and then the only thing left to plant is tomatoes. Alright, later.